Right, here we are, guys. We are at the Broken Token Arcade. Say hello to Whitney.
Hey. Hey, everybody.
I'm really excited about this. I've waited a long time to see his arcade. So here we are venturing in. On the side here, we've got some fantastic Donkey Kong artwork. Look at that, guys. And it's sort of attracting us into his arcade. He's got the Broken Token top there, look, as we come in. There's Whitney. How you doing, mate?
What's going on?
Yeah,
man?
look at this, guys.
Good evening, man. We've had a good supper, so it's time to visit the arcade, isn't it?
Wow. Look at this. Look at that. All lit up.
Yeah.
It's fantastic, mate. Absolutely
yeah, so I've
fantastic.
got, you know, it's funny. It's been a little bit since I've turned it on, so I've got a few things that didn't start back up the way that I wanted it to, but that tends to always be the case.
Yeah.
And I do have the Tron off on purpose because I'm doing some work on
Right,
that.
okay.
Yeah.
So I see you love your pins. You've got your pins on that side.
I do. Yeah.
It's a nice sized room, actually, to get access to everything. You've got a nice big space in the middle.
Yeah.
You could actually put a couple of cocktails through in the middle.
I think I could, but I
guess once you've got a few people in there.
Yeah, once we have family gatherings, holidays, and things like that, I mean, it just really fills up pretty quickly. I like having the open area and things like that.
Yeah,
so
okay, so
it
what
works
we're
out.
going to do, we're going to start on this left-hand side then, mate. You've got a cabinet here that I used to own, Gyrus.
Yeah,
Tell us a little about Gyrus.
Well, I've had this Gyrus for a while, and it's apart right now because I've got the metal pieces I've had out for powder coat. So
Right.
Gyrus works fine. You can see it's got a lot of burn on the tube.
A
lot of burn, and it definitely needs to be tube swapped and everything like that.
Yeah.
Works great. It's just that the control panel overlay was really messed up on it. So I took that off and took the control panel off and then sent it out for powder coat, and it just needs to be put back together.
It's
so
a fantastic
yeah,
game.
it's a fantastic game.
Yeah.
Works great. Love the game. It's a ton of fun to play.
Okay, now his is quite a rare cabinet.
Yeah.
We don't have many of these in the UK.
No.
I know James RGP's got one.
Does he?
Yeah.
It's a fantastic game. It's one of my favorites. Mad Planets.
Yeah.
And I bought this from a collector down in Georgia, and he did the restoration on it, and it's a beautiful, beautiful game. The only interesting thing about it, got it back up here and played it for several months, no problem at all. Now it starts up and plays blind. That just happened like maybe 4 or so weeks ago.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a bit about the game then, because it's a bit weird, isn't it?
It is. So the goal is to rescue astronauts that are being essentially chased by planets that are mad, or they get angry. How about that?
Okay.
And so your ship is in the field of the game, and of course you rotate the ship around and move it around with the pistol grip joystick. You move the ship around, and you have a spinner to rotate the ship, and of course you fire on the planets with the trigger on the pistol grip joystick, and then you pick the astronauts up while you try to destroy the planets.
Right.
It's a bit of a quirky game. I mean, I think all Gottlieb games are a bit quirky, but just by their nature.
Isn't it?
It's extremely fast paced, and you can actually work up a bit of a sweat just by playing the game.
Yeah, I played it a couple of times.
It
I fell in love with it.
It is absolutely one of my favorite games, and I do love it. And you know, the thing is I searched for this game for years before I found it, and had a line on several cabinets, and it just never worked out.
Yeah.
But
is it quite rare then in the US?
It is. It's rare here in the States. It is. It's rare all around.
Right, okay.
Rare all around. So.
Excellent. Right, now this is an unusual, it's obviously Pac-Man, but Super Pac-Man?
Yeah, Super Pac-Man.
So what's the difference about this cabinet?
Well, I mean, this game is it's kind of a love-hate relationship. I think most collectors have with Super Pac-Man. I happen to like it a lot. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's fairly varied. It's a good take on the Pac-Man genre itself. This particular cabinet though is home use only, and I found it here local to me in the area, and my cousin actually alerted me to it, and it was on Craigslist, and he said, "Hey, there's a Super Pac on Craigslist if you're after it." And
what's the difference between this version and the original Pac-Man then?
Well, with this, the maze is different, and you're eating essentially keys to open doors, and then each one of the dots are replaced by fruit or pretzels or bananas or any, I guess, all sorts of treats. There's donuts and things like
so
that.
There's a bit more to the game. Makes it a little bit more interesting. The original.
It is because
fun?
I think it's more fun. It's
Yeah.
more. I think it's more varied because you can eat a power pellet that turns your Pac-Man character very, very big.
Yeah.
And then you have a speed button where you can go very fast and you can zip your way through the maze. It just adds some gameplay to it, or some variance to the gameplay. I don't think it did very well in the arcades though. It doesn't seem to be a very valuable machine.
What year did it come out then? 80?
I think 83, I believe.
Okay.
Well, it says copyright 82. It's 82 or 83. I'd have to go back and look. So
well, it's nice to have a home use cabinet.
it is.
Sure.
It is, and a lot of what I've got here right now, I've just kind of thrown in here to fill up some space because I had to take my Popeye out of the row for when we were working on the Skyskipper project
which
because
we'll get into a bit later.
Yeah, we can get into that a bit later. But I needed to get into the Popeye so that I could use it as a pattern for us putting together the Skyskipper cabinet. So there's an empty space here, but ultimately this entire side of the room is going to be a Nintendo row.
Wow.
That's the goal.
Jealous,
that's the goal.
Jealous. So here we are, guys. This is 3 cabinets actually. Well, 2 of my own. I used to own the Donkey Kong 3. Fantastic game. You got it in a Donkey Kong Junior cabinet.
Yeah, I've got Donkey Kong 3 in the orange cabinet right now, and it's not where it's going to stay.
Yeah.
But this game is, I love this game. This is my daughter's favorite game in the entire. In the entire classic arcade scene.
Wow.
She comes back and she plays Donkey Kong 3 time and time and time again. She absolutely loves it.
Yeah, I love it. I used to
I do
absolutely
too.
love this game.
I do too. I think it's very fun. It's a great shooter, and it's just loads and loads of fun.
Yeah.
Ultimately, though, I do want to get this into a red cabinet.
Right.
And so that's
into a radar scope cabinet.
Into a radar scope cabinet, and which I do have on the back side of the room, which we can talk about here in a few minutes. But I'm going to do a bit of switcheroo on my Nintendo cabinets. The great thing about the Skyskipper project is it has forced me to reevaluate how I want all my Nintendo cabinets set up. And so I am going to move some things around to get the games that I want in the color cabinets that I want. So
awesome.
Anyway, it's going to work out.
And then we've got Junior, probably one of my favourite Nintendo games.
I love this game. This is Junior. It's in a blue cabinet. So can you see it okay?
Yeah,
Light and everything okay?
Mine's in an orange cabinet. Yours is in a blue. So yours is in a DK cabinet.
In effect, it is. But this was originally a Donkey Kong 3.
Right.
And so this was what this game came as.
Yeah, well, I mean, Donkey Kong 3 was just a kit.
It was just a kit. So
that could have gone in any cabinet.
It could have gone in any cabinet. I would.
And Donkey Kong Jr. would have come in a kit as well.
It came dedicated and as I understand, a kit for the American cabinets.
Yeah.
That's how I understand it anyway.
So it doesn't really matter what cabinet you got in. But I mean, obviously, this red Donkey Kong cabinet would have been a radar scope cabinet.
Yeah, well,
and because radar scope didn't sell well in America.
Exactly.
It did very well in Japan.
In Japan, and it's a decent game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the best of games,
no, I think
but
just the time it took to get over to the United States, things have moved on.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, and I know that Nintendo had to bet big on what they decided to replace radar scope with, and of course, Donkey Kong is as it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a factory red Donkey Kong, and I looked for this cabinet for years and years and years before I finally found it. And of course, you can see that all the artwork is original. It is a non-trademark. And here I want to make sure that I get that up there. That is a gift from one of the listeners of the podcast.
Okay.
So the O'Sheas, they're wonderful. But nonetheless, this has none of the trademark on the artwork. I have basically, Alex, I've left this cabinet alone.
Yeah.
It has the original side art on it. It's all ripped up.
Wow.
It's peeled and everything like that. But because it's the non-trademark artwork, currently there's no replacement for it. So I've just left it as it is.
Yeah, you're best
but
to.
But this, of course, you can see right here. It's a 7-slot speaker grill. It's just a great example of the game. And this was the very first. Donkey Kong was the very first arcade game that I remember playing back in the day as a kid.
Yeah.
And so I have such extreme nostalgia for this game. And I played on a blue cabinet as a kid. That's what was in the arcade. But when I got into the hobby and found out that it originally came in a red cabinet, that I was like, man,
That's like the Grail, isn't it?
well, for me it was the Grail because I love the color scheme. It's
Yes.
not that it's Donkey Kong. To me, it's Donkey Kong in red because it just matches from top to
it
bottom.
does,
Yeah. So I absolutely love it.
Yeah, do you mind just turning the light up a little bit, just so we can see?
Yeah,
a little
sure,
bit? It's
sure.
quite a little bit dark.
Here, let me do that. That'll be fine.
That's a bit better, yeah. Now you can see there, guys, the colours.
Yeah.
And that's what's great about a Nintendo Row. If you can get every single cabinet in a different colour,
Yeah,
how awesome is that?
it works out. So ultimately my goal for my Nintendo Row is Donkey Kong Jr. and then Donkey Kong 3 in a red cabinet.
Yeah.
And then right here would be Mario Brothers in a blue cabinet.
Yeah.
And then a Punch Out, and then I would love to do Popeye in an orange cabinet.
Yeah.
That's because I love the orange and the blue.
Yeah.
I love that. I love how those two colors play off of each other. So Popeye in an orange cabinet, and then Capstone would be Skyscraper at the end, so that you can see the artwork and everything like that.
Definitely.
Yeah, and then I've got an R-Type, and that may make its way down here at some point. And just kind of rotate things in and out a little bit, but I think that when it's done, the Nintendo Row will it may have a little bit of churn to it, but
it's gonna look amazing.
But outside of that, it's going to be fairly
Skyscraper's
static.
gonna be the icing, isn't it?
Yeah, it'll be the icing on it. There's
And then you've
no
got
doubt
some
about
really
it.
cool artwork up here.
So this is some collage artwork that I got from a gentleman on Clav, and he prints these out, and I really like them. I just thought they were great additions to the game room, and I wanted this side of the game room to be like all Nintendo.
Yeah.
But because it's not done, it's not quote unquote done yet.
Yeah.
I just
It's a
put
work
some
in
other things. I
progress,
just put some other things here in filler. So that's
And then you've got the
kind of
Gravatar poster up here, which is cool. Have you actually got a Gravatar cabinet?
I do, yeah. We've got one back here, and I'll show it to you here in a second. I'll air a bit of some dirty laundry, about the game room here in a minute. So no
Lovely
worries.
Atari neon poster. I've never seen anything like that. That is very cool.
Yeah. And then I've got a Satan's Hollow over here. One of my favorites, and my Tron, dude. You'll definitely have to excuse the Tron. It is, again, I've got some of the metal off of it that's going out for powder coating.
Yeah.
So that's the reason
Well,
why.
cool.
That's the reason
But
why.
it's all working.
Oh yeah. It's no problem at all.
And then you've got your pinball machines, which you're a big fan of, aren't you?
yeah,
You've got the cream of the pinballs here, haven't
Well,
you?
it's
Tron, Iron Man, which is supposed to be a fantastic game. AC/DC, I know you're a big fan of AC/DC.
Yeah, it's my favorite band.
Yeah,
so
and Star Trek, I know you're a big fan of Star Trek.
It's my favorite.
And Ghostbusters, which is probably the most recent pin to be released. Is that right?
Well, it's close. I mean, Aerosmith is now out right now, and then Star Wars has been announced. So Ghostbusters is probably, I guess if you think about it, it's 2 titles back.
Yeah. What's your favourite out of these 4? These 5?
My favorite out of these is from a gameplay perspective, I have to say Star Trek.
Star Trek.
It's just loads of fun. My wife and I love to play on it, and I would say, if there's one machine, in the room that pulls everything together from a theme perspective and just people wanting to come in and play, they'll always gravitate towards Star Trek.
It's just a good game.
It's just a good game, but from I guess a personal theme perspective, it would be Tron. Tron is just it's a hard game it's a hard game not to like. I mean, there's just so much about it to love, and I'm fortunate that I was able to find one, and I doubt I'll ever get rid of it. I have no reason to. Now, Iron Man, AC/DC. I mean, AC/DC was the first machine that I bought, and I definitely bought it on theme after playing it. But I love it, and it's just a load of fun to play as well. Wow. Iron Man's brutal; it's just so fast. And Iron Man's my favorite superhero, my favorite comic property. And I just love the speed of the game itself.
It's a really good game.
It's very fast. It's very brutal. It's a lot of fun. And then Ghostbusters is Ghostbusters is just great. I mean, it's an
fantastic theme.
It's a fantastic theme, and it's an incredibly difficult. Oh no, I'm going to say it's an incredibly challenging game to play. Okay, not that it's difficult, but
you don't want it too easy. Though,
you don't want it too easy, but there's so many. You get so much for your money out of Ghostbusters, and it's just a blast to play.
Yeah.
Just a blast to play.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and so that's the pins, and I really wanted to kind of keep it a bit of a mix between vids and pins.
Yes.
And my goal ultimately is to have a Nintendo row on one side, pins on the other, with a few vids flanking, and then here on the back end of the room, which right now I'm just using for storage. Okay, I'll get to this here in a second. Would be just this is going to be like my rotation area that I pull games in, pull games out, and if I have company over and they request that, I know it's like, okay, it's Christmas, maybe I put in, I pull the Robotron out, pull the Burger Time out, and throw an Asteroids Deluxe in or something like that. This is that area of the room where it's very fluid. This side of the room was intended to be fairly static. Okay.
So you got Burger Time.
Yeah, I've got a Burger Time here that works fine. Robotron.
I want one.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. There's
Black Widow, awesome.
Yeah, Black Widow is an awesome game. It works fine.
Gravatar.
I've got a Gravatar right there.
Yeah.
There's a Sinistar, and there is a Centipede right over there. There's a Tempest. It works fine. And then here's my red radar scope cabinet that is right now. It was a operator conversion to Mario Brothers.
Right, I just can't believe you got 2 red radar scope cabinets.
I did. I got lucky. There's no doubt about it.
One of the rarest Nintendo cabinets.
And so Alex, what I had to do for this, the reason that I've got this apart is when we were you and I were talking about the Skyskipper project. The big thing about it is we had to have, for the reveal, the most perfect tube in it and most perfect picture that we could find. And so in doing that, I had to locate a tube and was fortunate to do that. But then I had to kind of shift into a mode where I needed a backup tube. And so this Mario Brothers had a great tube in it, and I thought, okay, I'll yank it, rebuild it, we'll take it to SFGE, it'll be the backup tube, and then when I get back home, I put it back in the Mario Brothers, and it's rebuilt and it's good to go. So there's some method to the madness, I guess, is the best way to say it. And then there's a food fight right there.
Look at the artwork on the side of that.
Oh, it's beautiful, and it plays perfect. But like I say, I've got some of the metal out for powder coating, so that's what's going on with that. That's my parts closet. So I would say that's just a
more parts
full of artwork and everything like that.
That's cool.
And there we go. Ghostbusters is alive, mate. Ghostbusters is alive.
Well, I know we've been working really hard today. And this is a short game room tour, guys. But I just want to finish off a little chat about Skyskipper.
There we go.
And what we're going to be doing tomorrow. Okay, so let's set the camera up and let's have a little chat about that.
That sounds good, Alex. Thanks.
Right, Whitney. Before I get into your collection, right? How did we meet? How does it all come together? How am I in America?
Well, I would say, man, it's definitely the Skyskipper project that has brought us together. And what, Alex, maybe somewhere between 1.5 to 2 years ago, I guess, is when we first met.
And, on your podcast.
Yeah, definitely on the podcast, because I'd reached out to you to do an interview. And we got to talking, and then it just kind of exploded. It just stemmed from that and exploded from that. So. It's been a roller coaster of a couple of years, hasn't it?
So, guys, Whitney is my partner in the Skyskipper project. Don't forget, I have 2 Skyskipper PCBs, and I own one, and now Whitney owns one. And we are revealing the Skyskipper tomorrow at SFGE.
It's going to be tomorrow. Well, I guess it'll be the day after tomorrow, because tomorrow we get up and what do? We drive for 7 hours.
Exactly. Now, before we get into that, I just want you to tell my viewers what it was like going to Nintendo of America, because Whitney had to go into the vault to NOA. and scan this machine, the only one left in the world.
Yeah, well, it was. I mean, it was a privilege, and it was nerve-wracking, and it was exciting, and it was scary all at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, Alex, we had worked so hard to try to get access to a complete cabinet, or just even complete artwork.
Yeah, because all we had was a black and white
flyer. Yes,
that's all we had to go on.
Yeah.
And with Billy Mitchell's contacts.
Yes. Yeah. So Billy Mitchell was a huge help for this project because he got us the initial relay onto some folks who used to work at Nintendo.
Yeah.
And many years ago, and 2 people actually.
Yeah.
And so we talked with them and then with Billy and kept going forward.
Yeah.
And this happened over the course of weeks and months. Yeah. This wasn't an immediate turnaround. It's not like we reached out to Billy on Tuesday and then by the next week, by the end of next week we're into Nintendo. It was a very ongoing process. Yeah. But eventually,
and we didn't really know where it was going to lead to.
We had no idea.
We couldn't believe in our wildest dreams.
No,
that we would get invited into the vault to see this game.
No, not at all. I mean, ultimately, we were committed to recreating the artwork, even if we did not get access to anything official.
Yeah.
And I know that may sound a little odd, but we were committed and we were fully well entrenched and dug in to say, we'll recreate the artwork package based on what little we can see.
Yeah.
That means we had looked at the flyer, we looked at pictures on the internet, you had a couple of Japanese catalogs.
That's right.
We were going to blow up the pictures, trace it, we were going to do whatever we could.
Basically.
Well, for lack of a better term, we were going to, I don't know, we were going to fill in the blanks is what we were going to do, because we knew that we had a bit of a base, but we didn't have enough to do the entire artwork package. So actually getting into Nintendo was it was all upside, and it was a long shot.
Yeah.
Honestly, Alex, I didn't know that it was going to happen, and I didn't even really think it was going to happen.
No. So it turned out that Billy Mitchell, when he got his world record at Donkey Kong, actually got invited into NOA, and he actually remembers seeing Sky Skipper in the lobby. Mm-hmm. And there was rumours going around, I'd heard from other collectors, that Sky Skipper was in the lobby. So it kind of rang true what he was saying.
It did. It did prove to be true.
Yeah,
that's 35 years later. It was kind of a
myth, wasn't it? We didn't really know for sure.
Yeah, it was all unconfirmed.
And then when he found out that we had 2 working Sky Skipper PCBs, he wanted to jump on board, help us out.
He did.
And the story came.
He wanted to make sure we were legit first.
Yes.
Yeah. So there was a bit of a vetting that had to go on, and even vetting going on the path up to get into Nintendo.
Yeah.
There was some vetting going on.
Yeah.
But I feel like after you and I proved our sincerity to Billy and showed him what we had, and he knew that we were taking this extremely seriously, and that we wanted to recreate we wanted to quote unquote finish Sky Skipper by recreating Sky Skipper, but do it in as historically accurate fashion as possible, and still get the game to the point to where people would want to see it, because we had the suspicion that it was prototype status game. We didn't really know how far along the release cycle it was. So in working with Billy, we finally, after months and months and months, finally get to Nintendo. And we're invited in. You and I both were invited in.
I couldn't make it, obviously. It was
Alex,
a bit of a trip for me back then.
It was. If you had to walk it, it would have been tough. Exactly. But nonetheless, I kind of went as proxy, so to speak, simply because I could get there. And we took the equipment in, and Nintendo was so gracious to us, and I cannot thank Nintendo enough for everything that they accommodated from a request standpoint for us, because
they didn't have to do this.
They didn't have. There was absolutely no upside for them to accommodate our project outside of the fact that we were very fortunate that we were able to talk to a few people there at Nintendo that love the classic arcades like we do. And for lack of a better term, I felt that they saw our sincerity and wanted to help us out. And we're forever grateful for that.
So literally, they actually dragged this machine out of the warehouse, which was a separate building, wasn't it?
It was,
where they had all of their sort of historical
Yeah,
stuff.
it's like their library of archives.
Yes. And brought it into a white room.
Mm-hmm.
And what was your first impression when you walked into that room and you saw Sky Skipper there for the first time?
Okay, I have to give you two answers.
Yeah.
Okay, the first answer was I was blown away by what I saw, because I couldn't believe that a year or so's worth of work finally panned to the point to where I'm walking into NOA out in Seattle, Redmond, Washington. Actually, it's a suburb of Seattle. And walk into their archives, and there is sitting the only known / last sky skipper on the face of planet Earth, complete sky skipper on the face of planet Earth. It blew me away that I was able to put my hands on history like this and be at NOA to do it.
Yeah.
Now, on the flip side, I was a bit disappointed in what I saw, because the cabinet was the artwork was obviously unfinished. It was definitely what I consider probably late prototype or early urn testing stage in the artwork. The cabinet itself was old. It looked old, but it was complete, and that's really what mattered. So I think any of us would be a little overjoyed by the fact that we're going to Nintendo, we're going to see this game, and you have these kind of filters on that say, I'm going to go see the most awesome thing in the world, and then you walk through the door and you know you're looking at the most awesome thing in the world, and it's like, whew, that thing needs a lot of work, but it's there, and so it was elation. Ultimately, it was elation, but it was also a stark reminder of just how much work we had in front of us to get to where we wanted to be with the project. It wasn't like they wheeled out this pristine, perfect copy of Sky Skipper and just said, have at it, boys, and you should be good to go. The more that we worked on this, the more we realized how far out we actually were.
And it's funny, the most important thing for me to see was the PCB that was inside the cabinet. Because obviously I had two PCBs, and just seeing and comparing the one that was in the cabinet with mine with the actual code number TNX1, to see that was just absolutely fantastic.
It made me feel good too.
It reassured me that I had a legitimate Sky Skipper PCB.
Well,
and mine were working, and the one in the LLA wasn't working.
No, it was not.
So ours are the only two working in the world, as far as we know.
As far as we know. So I'll get back to that in a second. But one thing I will say is I was relieved as well, because Alex, I mean, we agree to do this project, and we say, okay, we're going to enter into a partnership, and we're going to make something special happen. And we do that with the best of intent for the community, saying we're going to dig in and make this a go, without having really any idea how we're going to make this a go, or how we're going to finish this. It's like, this sounds like a really great project to start. I have no idea how we're going to make this, how we're going to make this thing work out, or where we're going to go with it. So I was relieved as well, and I know, and I can remember this just like it was yesterday, and I'll remember it for the rest of my life, walking in and taking the back door off the cabinet and getting my phone out and turning on the flashlight and saying, here goes nothing, and let's see what we have. And I was so relieved. Of course, I couldn't call you. I mean, I was on a bit of a time scale. And Nintendo was very accommodating, but you don't linger. Okay, you don't take advantage. Advantage of that generosity. You get in, you get your work done, you thank everybody, and then you go ahead and get out of their hair.
You had a historian sitting next to you the whole time, didn't you?
I did. Yes, I did. And so. And we do need to get back to the topic that we were talking about before I started talking about the PCB and everything. But you asked about the historian. So I was assigned essentially a proctor when I got to NOA. So our contact that we worked with, he assigned me this proctor, and that person was the quote unquote NOA historian. And that person was responsible for maintaining the archives, cataloging all of the history of what has moved through NOA, what they still have in their library, in their archives. and everything like that. And that person stayed with me the entire time.
Yeah.
And I was glad for that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want, if anything were to happen, I didn't want, in a way, to think to say that I caused a problem.
Yes. Yeah.
So I was happy that I had somebody with me the entire time. And I must say, that person was the nicest, most accommodating and interested person that I think I could have ever met. And I'll say this, Alex. I mean, NOA was so good. They gave us the time. They gave us the access. They gave us the confidence to go in and move the project along in this way. And then on top of that, they were great to my daughter. They gave some gifts that my daughter just absolutely loved when I got home. I mean, Nintendo took care of us. Yeah. They took care of my daughter, and they took care of our project in the spirit of what we were trying to do. Yeah. Exactly like you hope Nintendo would. Yeah. It just all around great. It was perfect. It was perfect. Yeah. It was perfect.
Yeah. Wow. So after that, after you were in and you saw the whole cabinet, you took all the artwork from that machine and you gave it to who?
So we had we had a third person on the project, Ollie. Yeah. And so after we scanned everything, because I was at NOA, had a laptop, I had my flatbed scanner. And I was scanning the sides, scanning the artwork, scanning the marquee, the control panel, every piece of artwork I could find, scanning. And then we turned it over to our fellow teammate, Ollie. Yeah. And Ollie worked on redrawing and kind of knitting everything back together and redrawing everything.
Because some of it was sun faded, some of it looked a little bit unfinished.
It was bad. Some of it was pretty bad. Yeah. So it needed a graphics designer's eye on it to kit it all back together, as you'd say. And Ollie worked on that for months and
did a fantastic
months.
Job.
And you and I provided some insight and worked with him a little bit as it went. And as we got each piece finished, we'd go back and measure it, go back and just make sure that it was proportioned properly. So Ollie worked with us. We worked with Ollie. It was a very collaborative process. Yeah.
Ollie did a hell of a lot.
He did a very good job.
And the artwork
a very good job.
Absolutely fantastic.
And the artwork is beautiful. Yeah. It is absolutely beautiful. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so incredible that we managed to get all of that from NOA. It really is.
To me, it's the project of a lifetime in the arcade community. Yeah. I'm just very fortunate that we were able to get together and make this happen. I just can't say enough.
So this weekend we're going to the Simplified Gaming Expo.
Yes.
To unveil our project.
Yes, we are.
All these years and months of work.
Yeah.
That you and I and Ollie and loads of other people are going to mention on the day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they'll all get mentioned. And so I know that this comes. I see this come up on Facebook quite a bit, and I do want to make mention of this. Yeah. So I have a cabinet, and you have a cabinet. Yes. And this is the perfect segue to come back to that PCB discussion. Yes. Okay, so why don't we do that? So I have restored a cabinet here for the U.S. You're going to be restoring a cabinet for the UK. And you'd made mention that we have the only 2 working PCBs that we know of. That is true. All up, we know of 4 PCBs, okay, in total. 1 is in my possession, 1 is in your possession. The 3rd is with a collector in Japan, and it is incomplete as we know it today and not working. The 4th is the PCB that is in the prototype machine, serial number 0001 at NOA itself. 4 PCBs, 2 working. That's it. That's all that's known of at this point in time. So the cabinet that I have, that you and I've worked on the past the past few days, and we'll be taking to SFGE. That'll be the USA cabinet. And you'll be restoring your Skyscraper. That will be the UK cabinet. And then we'll take them to shows in the US and the UK, and we'll have a Skyscraper in the US, a Skyscraper in the UK, and we hope that everybody enjoys playing it and can enjoy it.
And it's a fantastic game, isn't it?
It is actually a great game.
It is.
It's better than Popeye.
Yeah, it's a lot better than
It's
Popeye.
a lot
Yeah.
better than Popeye.
It's got a lot more depth.
It's a lot more depth.
It's probably one of the first multi-directional sort of
Yeah,
shooters
so,
as well,
yeah,
in a
I
way,
think
you
so.
know,
Yeah, like a side scroller because
Yeah.
it scrolls it scrolls vertically and horizontally,
That's right.
and it can scroll in both directions at the same time.
Yeah, without any pauses.
Without any pauses,
Yeah.
no screen tearing, no slowdowns or anything like that. No pixelation or fading or dimming or anything, flashes or anything. You can tell the hardware's up to the task.
Yes.
And it's actually very smooth.
Yeah.
I am surprised after playing Skyscraper now like we have, playing it on the actual hardware. I'm surprised that Nintendo didn't release it because I think it would have done. I think it would have done well.
Yeah.
To your note,
it didn't do well on location.
no,
This is the
in
thing.
earn testing,
No.
it did not. What we were told is that there were 12 Skyscraper cabinets produced. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, uprights.
Yeah.
They were all sent here to the U.S. to do earn testing for Nintendo during that period between Donkey Kong Jr. And the earn testing happened in the Pacific Northwest, as we understand it. It did not pass the earn testing criteria that Nintendo of Japan set out for Nintendo of America to gauge it.
How many did they have on the clock? Was it 22,000, something like that?
I'd have to go back. I'd have to go back and look at the picture, but I don't think you're that far
Yeah,
off.
and compared to Donkey Kong that had probably gone round the clock.
Oh, it may have rolled it three times
It
before
probably
we all
just
know.
seemed as a total waste.
Yeah, and I think when they look at the coin counter, they say, "Oh man, 22,000 plays. Cut our losses before we even go down the road."
I think it was just bad timing, really.
I think it was bad timing. The game itself is really good and it's really fun. You were talking about the pace.
Yeah.
You can set your own pace with the game. It can be very frantic,
Yeah.
or you can dial it back and then formulate
Buy
your
your
strategy,
time.
buy some time, and then go in.
Yeah.
It's a great game.
Yeah, it is a great game.
Yeah.
And the detail,
like
the
it.
attention to detail on the sprites, always blows me away.
Sprites are
The
good.
little propeller on the plane.
Yeah, it's
absolutely
good.
Incredible. But everything else, the whole side art, the control panel, which you'll see, guys. Actually, probably the time this video goes out, maybe.
Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible.
It's a beautiful cabinet. We have the entire team to thank. I do want to give a special shout out to Rich at This Old Game. Because Rich, if you're seeing this, we thank you, buddy, because we could not have done the unveil without Rich's work as well. Because
there's Rich. There's so many people. There's Mark Whiting, who did the modification on the original Skyscraper PCB, and without him, this wouldn't have happened.
Exactly.
He was the brainchild in the beginning. So I've got a lot to thank for Mark. So if you're watching this, mate, unbelievable.
Yeah, Mark, we thank you. We've not met yet. Hopefully we'll meet each other at Play Expo in Manchester.
And then we've got people like Atari Tubin, Steve, who gave us the flyer, for that to go off as reference.
Yeah, that was great because we've been able to track down another flyer, and we wouldn't even really have known what to go after had we not had these little nuggets of information spread at the right time to help us put the entire puzzle together.
Florent Georges as well, who wrote the history of Nintendo, who gave me the inspiration to collect all these early Nintendo games, all the Ikigami games. Without his book, I don't think I would have got to this position where I am now. There's obviously Ollie, who did all the artwork. Ollie did a fantastic job. Who else is there, guys? I mean,
Billy Mitchell, Walter Day, my buddy Jonathan, who worked with me on the cabinet. Of course, we mentioned Rich at This Old Game. My co-host Brent, he put up with me while we were doing this entire project. So I got to thank Brent as well. I got to thank my wife. Who put up with me during this entire ordeal as well.
There's so many people involved in this.
So many people involved.
So many people. It's taken so long. I just can't believe this little game has brought me all the way here to the United States.
It's going to take us to the UK. It's great stuff.
I just always dreamt of coming here, and now I'm here. So you're looking forward to tomorrow?
I'm looking really forward to tomorrow.
We've got 8 hours journey to Atlanta now.
Buddy, we're going to be riding in a Chevy Suburban all the way down and all the way back. So it's going to be a great reveal weekend. Like I say, 2 years in the making, and we can't wait to share Skyscraper with the world.
Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Thanks very much for showing me your collection.
No problem. But before you go, I've got a surprise for you.
Cool.
Okay. Hang tight. Let me hop over here and get this. And I think everybody who watches Alex's channel is saying, "Where's the cake?"
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So Alex, for you, buddy,
Jesus.
we have got the American version of cake. So as they say, let them eat cake.
Oh, thank you very much, but I don't think I'm going to be able to eat all that, mate. That is huge.
Dude, well, it is America after all. And as I was always told growing up, if you don't clean your plate, I'm going to be offended. So, buddy, I think you need to get busy.
Waste not, want not.
Chop, chop is what we say.
Look at that, guys. Look at that. Fresh dairy American cream.
Yes.
So let's get tucked in, eh? I am actually going to eat all of this.
Go for it,
right
mate.
Up in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Classic style. And they, excellent, mate. Excellent. Yeah. That's plastic, dude. That's okay. That's okay.
I thought that was white chocolate.
No, that would be plastic.
Let's take them off.
It's all good. You keep those as souvenirs, dude. Well, one and a half of them as souvenirs.
Let's just get through this now.
Yeah. Excellent. Dig into it, man.
I'm getting there, man.
Yeah.
I might need a beer.
Like it owes you money. I'll get you taken care of on the beer. Excellent. Alex, it was wonderful, mate. It was wonderful. Yeah, thank you so much for the project, man. This has been a blast. Oh, that's awesome, dude.
That was stuck in between my teeth. I couldn't get it out. I'm glad I didn't have to eat all of that.
Dude, you don't have to eat all that, man. It's all good. You're a trooper, dude. You are a trooper.
Is that good?
Oh, yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Here, let me get another picture of you just with it all over. Yeah.
Yeah, go on, get a close up so I can put it on Facebook. And get the flags. Where are the flags? Hang on.
You want to stick one back in your tooth?
Hang on.
Oh yeah. Stick one in your teeth, man. That'd be awesome.
Or in your mouth or something. That's awesome.
Excellent.